Hello, what is going on everybody? Thrive here, and today is a pretty awesome day for Planet Zoo. So this morning the brand new South American pack officially launched for everyone. Last I checked, worth $10 or 10 euros. I would absolutely recommend getting it. I've been playing with it for a bit now, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. It's a really well-made DLC. But in this video, we're going to go ahead and do an overview of the entire DLC. We're going to take a look at all the animals. I'm going to give my thoughts on them. We're going to take a look at their enrichment items, all the brand new botanical pieces, and the new construction pieces. We're just going to do a big overview. You know, and even have footage of the baby animals for you guys to see. I'll plug that in with every animal we take a look at. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do today in this video. And also later I'll have my very first proper gameplay for this new DLC. One thing to note though is, this is currently being recorded a couple days before the DLC comes out. It's a pre-release version, and so some things may or may not be perfect. There may be an extra animation or two we're not going to be able to see right now at the time of me making this video. And also, you know, vice versa. There may be some animation glitches that hopefully will be smoothed out when the DLC properly comes out for everyone. So, just note that. But now we're actually going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off with my favorite animal of the DLC, the Jaguar. So for a starter, here are the enrichment items. Here are all the toy enrichment items specifically. And then past all that, here are the only three food enrichment items. So, yeah, let's dive right on into this. I'm going to start by taking a look, or we're going to just take a look at it, and I'm going to give my thoughts about the animal before I actually started playing on it. I've had a few days of experience now with all the animals, so my opinions are pretty clear on them. So before I actually got to play with the Jaguar, judging based on by the very first screenshot we got of it, from day one I was a huge fan of the Jaguar. I've always wanted it to be in the game. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know I've been always griping about its inclusion, or sorry, its a lack of inclusion from launch. So it's great to finally see it. And also another thing to note is that at my own local zoo, they are pretty big with jaguars. It's called the Brevard Zoo. I would definitely recommend checking out that zoo. But they've always had a big history with jaguars, and and since I go there pretty regularly and now even work there on the weekends, I get to see jaguars all the time, and I've been so close to them, fortunately enough. And I must say they are really beautiful animals. And right here in Planet Zoo, they have done a really, really good job, Frontier has, at recreating them. Pretty much everything so far I've seen about the Jaguar is accurate. The way it walks, with its head tilted downwards, the skull shape, the sounds, the patterning is perfect. Oh, and speaking of the patterning, I know some people are going to be wondering, is there a black Jaguar in the game now? And actually, yes, there is. One of my other friends who actually also got an early version of this game, or of the DLC, sorry, he sent me a screenshot of the black Jaguar found in franchise mode, so it definitely is possible. And yeah, it looked great. So there is definitely now Black Panthers in Planet Zoo, and yeah, it is a Black Panther. Just note that Black Panther is not an actual individual animal. It's just a black leopard or a black jaguar. So now that we're past that, so basically my opinion of the animal beforehand was really high, and afterwards my opinion is still very high. I think this animal is great. It is just, it's a beast. It's an overall beast. It's the third largest cat in the world, and I can definitely feel it here. It brings a big bulk to the game, and it's quite different from all the other cats. It also has some pretty cool extra animations, like you've already seen with the swimming animation. If you've actually watched some of the cats swim in the game, the swimming animation for the Jaguar is a bit more unique, as it should be, as, you know, these guys properly are meant to swim, and, you know, South America, there's just lots of rivers and very wet, so they're meant for the wet side of cats. And yeah, so there's some extra animations here and there. Like, for example, you'll see the Jaguars kind of do this jittering thing with their mouth. They will open their mouth, it will open and close it consistently at one time, really fast, and that's what Jaguars actually do. And yeah, so the animation is a little altered from other cats, but for the most part it's pretty similar. The yawning animation is hilarious and different from all the other cats in the game. I've noticed, I don't know if I'll be able to get footage of it here, but sorry, it's hilarious. They like do this big stretch, and the face is hilarious, but it's so adorable. So yeah, Jaguar, it's a great animal. Hopefully you're also seeing some baby Jaguar footage. Like I said, I got footage of all of them. I got all that footage in a different world, but I'm not going to take the time to get it all down in here, and it's not really necessary. So hopefully you're seeing it. They're adorable. The baby Jaguars are just such a little bundle of joy. But anyway though guys, the Jaguar overall is one hell of an animal. Frontier seriously put some work into it. They're accurate in pretty much every single way. The way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it feels. The animation is a little unique to it, and also being similar to other cats. It's an animal that can finally mark off the bucket list. And now with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next animal, as I don't really want to take too much time on each one. Next we have the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey. So very specific species. Here you go right here. That's the Colombian white-faced capuchin. Now as far as food enrichment, here you go. There's actually one that's not visible on here, and it's because I couldn't get it to fit in. It was this one. This one's also for the capuchins, but like I said, just couldn't fit in. And over here is the toy enrichment items, kind of like the same stuff as other primates. And now let's actually take a look at these little boogers. They are interesting, very, very interesting. Now, playing with these guys, my thoughts on it weren't the highest. It was a little bit more towards the bottom of my list. I was still looking forward to them, and they still have what exactly I want them to have. So I knew like even before anyone knew about the South American pack, in my mind I knew if they were going to do primates of South America, any choice from that continent would have brought something new to the game, because all primates from South America have what I like to call the classic monkey vibe. And that's what I'm getting from these guys. What the heck was that? See what I'm saying? It's a bit of an earlier version, there's a little glitch here and there, but so yeah, when I think of monkeys, I think of New World monkeys. The classic, agile, fast-moving, maneuverable, lighter, skinnier kind of monkey vibe. The ones that just could be anywhere, and they range from like a medium primate to a very small. They're very simple and different from lemurs and apes, and they're just, it brings a certain vibe, these classic New World monkeys. And at the game, currently, before we got the Capuchin, all we had in terms of monkeys were Old World monkeys, that being the mandrill and Japanese macaque. And while they are actually monkeys, neither of them bring that classic monkey vibe. When I think of monkeys, they're not the first ones that come to mind. These kind of monkeys are, the ones we're looking at right here. So, what's great about South America is all of them bring this brand new type of primate group to the game, even if it's still just a monkey. And anyway, though, so that's kind of my main problem with the Capuchin, or at least it was beforehand. The Capuchin monkey would not have been my first pick. Again, any South American primate would have fulfilled this new type of primate feeling and this type of primate group, and so. Again, Capuchin just wouldn't have been my first pick. I would have done like howler monkeys, or spider monkeys, or tamarins, or hell, even saki monkeys. Just ones I'm more familiar with. I've not really seen too much of Capuchin monkeys before. I know they do appear in zoos, so it's not like an out-of-the-nowhere animal. They were in the back of my mind, but I really wasn't expecting them. I thought they'd go for more traditional, more famous species. Still though, I'm actually really happy with it, and this is now actually after I've played with the animal for a while. The Capuchin monkeys are very unique compared to all the other primates. I love their tails for some reason. Their tails are so adorable. Unfortunately, as you've seen in this footage already, they do not climb with their tail. They don't swing with their tail, which is a big shame, because that's one thing I was really hoping to see, was actual, like, proper tail swinging. And I understand maybe they didn't want to take the time to animate that, as it's probably a lot, but I really would have preferred to see something like that. For all I know, maybe the Capuchins don't actually use their tails to swing on, and maybe that's why they picked them, but yeah, the Capuchins, though, if you just look at them and you actually get to watch them for a while, they're pretty different from many of the other primates, and I find that special. They're very unique now. They will occasionally stand up on their legs, I've seen. They're a little bit different in the climbing. They slow down a lot more, and then they can be really fast all of the next sudden. They're very, very interesting, and I really, really like them. I appreciate Frontier's inclusion of these guys. Again, they still wouldn't have been my first choice, but I'm happy with them. And also, here is some baby footage. Unfortunately, the baby Capuchins aren't too different from the adults, which makes sense, as these guys are actually now the smallest animal in Planet Zoo. I've done my measurements, and originally the Chinese penguin was the smallest. Free roaming, sorry, I meant to specify specifically free roaming, not counting tank animals here. Oh, and as you can see, like I said, pre-release version, animations aren't completely perfect. But anyway, as I was saying, the Capuchins are now the smallest. The Chinese penguin is actually bigger than these guys. Not height-wise, but length and width, they're bigger. So yeah, Capuchins are the smallest, and so I wasn't really surprised seeing that the babies aren't too much smaller. I don't think they would want to go that small, but still, the babies are still adorable, and the primate overall is just it's another great inclusion. I'm really happy with them, and I guess I'm gonna start repeating some of the same stuff I've already said. So let's go ahead and actually move on now. Hopefully you've seen enough of them. I would definitely, if you are a fan of primates and you are interested in getting this pack, do it for the Capuchin. If you're really that big of a fan of them, it's definitely a great animal to have in your zoos, and I'm sure it's gonna be a very popular one for a while. So yeah, that was the Capuchin monkey. Let's move on now to the spitters. Let's take a look at the llamas. So taking a look at the enrichment items first off here, they're food enrichment items, and this one already melted. This one is ice, whatever that one was again, and little scent markers. Oh yeah, and also this right here. So llamas, where are they? Here we go. Now, the llamas were interesting because before we actually knew they were llamas, and this was like the first type of animal, this was the first animal they teased for the DLC, everyone was kind of in a big debate, was it a guanaco or a llama or one of the other ones? It was pretty obvious it was either the llama or guanaco, and I was on the llama side. I thought it was going to be a llama, and I also wanted it to be a llama, and so I'm really happy they made it in. Now, some of the problems I know people are going to have with these guys is, first off, their coats are not different, they're really all the same. I think maybe you can find some alterations here and there in franchise mode, as you usually do with all the animals, but for the most part, your traditional llamas in Planet Zoo are going to be white, which actually makes sense, as their main base color is white, so it works well. But so pre actually getting to play with these guys, I was really happy they went with the llama. They weren't really on my mind in a South American pack, but it makes sense that they would pick these guys. It makes sense to have them now, and I'm really glad they are a part of it, because it's another one of those animals that was just at least in the back of people's minds before we actually got our hands on Planet Zoo. We were like, alright, they gotta have a camelid like this eventually. So while I kind of forgot about them, it's great to be reminded of the llama. It's great to remember that we need these guys on Planet Zoo, and it's great to have them now. And the model's great. It does take the exact same animation as the camel, and yeah, it fits well, as again, the llamas are camelids. And so post actually playing with these guys, I love them. I love the llamas. Luckily they do actually spit. Unfortunately, these guys are friends. The two I put together are friends. When I first actually got to take a look at them, I put a regular male and a female together, and they fought crazily. Like, they have a really aggressive fighting animation. The llamas kick at each other, they bite at each other, and of course they spit at each other. So don't worry, they do spit. They don't spit at guests or staff. I've already tested this. They only spit at each other, and that makes sense, because if you remember, Planet Zoo doesn't have animals attacking humans. It's just not a part of the game, but they do have animals attacking animals, so it makes sense. Also, forgot to note, as you can see, a lot of these exhibits are not super well detailed. They're just quick things to make. I took like 20 minutes to make this llama exhibit, but I think it looks pretty good for this time being. But yeah, overall, guys, the llama is a great choice. I know they're not the most exciting of the pack, but people will definitely find some use in them. If you want to make your own petting zoos in your zoo, this is a good start to it. Or if you want to treat them like an actual main attraction animal, go for it. The animation is slightly unique to it, I feel like, and it's also pretty much the same as the camel. It's got a couple extra alterations, kind of like the Jaguar with the cat. You know, they spit now, the llamas do. Different from the camels. But yeah, overall, really satisfying animal. And not much more to say about that. Oh yeah, so far if I had to rank all three animals we've seen, I've already mentioned the Jaguar is my favorite, still is, still always will be. Capuchin monkey were probably actually my third favorite, and these guys right here, llamas, they'd actually probably be my fourth. Because at the end of the day, they are just llamas. But anyway, luckily though, my second favorite is the one that surprised me the most of all. Here we are, here's one of them. The giant anteater. Now, this is one of the more anticipated animals. I actually just had a poll on this DLC about which animal people are most looking forward to seeing, and a lot of people, giant anteater seem to come in second. Now, pre actually getting my hands on it, on this DLC, the giant anteater was actually my least favorite, surprisingly enough. Now, I am a huge fan of anteaters, and maybe that's why I was so critical of it, but the first screenshot we got of them was just terrible. It showed them in their sitting down animation, and while they still do that, and it still looks kind of off to me, it just made it did not look like a regular anteater. Some people agreed and pointed out some of the issues. The coloring didn't look too clear, the patterning didn't look too clear, and in my opinion, the head looked too short. But now that I've actually gotten to see these guys up and moving around, I can thankfully say, fortunately say, these guys are a very faithful recreation, adaptation to a real-life giant anteater. It feels like Frontier did their research, because it just looks like a giant anteater, which is what I was hoping for. Now, as far as their animation goes, as you can see, it's hard to exactly pinpoint what animation it's taking from another animal. It has the same kind of sound animation, sound design as the aardvark does, where you can only hear it sniffle, or you can hear it like breathe. That's pretty much it, which makes sense. I mean, I've never heard of a giant anteater make like an actual vocal noise. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Oh, and actually their tongue. First time I just saw the tongue in use. But yeah, the giant anteater was just a big surprise to me. I was so happy and so relieved that this was a faithful recreation, as it brings home this giant anteater feel. Now, at the end of the day, it has a pretty basic animation, as it should. The model is perfect, and the patterning and coloring is great. And I actually forgot to show the enrichment items. So, as far as the toy enrichment goes, here you go right here, and as far as food enrichment goes, you have all of this. Now, this new termite piece, and actually, let's go over to where it's in a more, well, no, let's actually go back to this one. Let's go back to this one, and it looks great. This is one of my favorite new enrichment item pieces. It just fits them. Now, I have yet to actually see them use this. There may be one thing about this early version that wasn't included. Hopefully, you guys are seeing it for yourself when you play with the DLC. But I have yet to actually see them climb on top of this and use it. But I'm sure they do. Or why else would it be in the game, right? But overall, that's basically it for the anteater. Hopefully, you're seeing some baby footage of it. So yeah. Pre-playing with the DLC, I wasn't happy with it. Post-playing with it, it's now, as I hoped it would be, one of my favorites. It's so close to being my favorite. Still, though, the Jaguar does beat it by a little bit because it's a Jaguar. And but the anteater, though, is a great animal. I'm sure a lot of people are going to love using these guys in your zoos. I'm going to see them a lot, I reckon, and we all are. But yeah, now if you're a fan of anteaters, this is definitely one reason to buy the pack. It's absolutely worth getting. And now one more thing I want to point out before we get to one of the last animals and all the construction pieces is the pathing. There are 3 new types of pathing. You're seeing it right here. This was the bamboo path. This right here was the gold path, and this last one over here is another type of bamboo path. But yeah, we'll take a look at that in a moment when we get over there. Actually, that would be right now. Yeah, let's get over right now to the final section, take a look at the final animal and all the construction pieces. I'll give a good extensive look at all of that. But if we go into here, we can find the other 5th animal to the pack, the giant, I'm about to say giant anteater for some reason, the red-eyed tree frog. That's the one. And you know what? Surprisingly enough, even though it may just be a tank animal, this little tank animal certainly packs a punch, in my opinion. I think this is one animal I've seen a lot of people really happy about, which is good, because I really wasn't expecting people to like it too much, considering it is kind of the oddball animal. It is just an extra tank animal, and they were treating it as if it was just as equally so exciting as the others, when, let's be honest, it's really not. But the red-eyed tree frog, though, I must admit, even though it may just be a tank animal, it is probably one of the best. It's probably my favorite now. The animation, now depending on where it is in the tank, it can be a little different each time, but it does feel like the animation is a bit different from any of the other, I guess we could say, amphibians in the game, and even some of the other tank animals. Some of the tank animals hardly move. So yeah, the animation feels improved compared to the other tank animals. The model is probably the very best thing, though. The other tank animal models, some of them, like the spiders, for example, don't look too particularly good sometimes. But the red-eyed tree frog here is just perfect. The model animation, I mean, it legit looks real. The very first screenshot we got of them made it look real. And that is some fine work by Frontier. The fact that they had this much time to work on a simple tank animal, it definitely feels like they put in a lot of work. Now there's a lot more tree frogs in here. Let's see if we can actually find one so you can see them in a new position. It's just like the Ever Frogs. They can pretty much be found anywhere in the tanks. If, again, I can find one. Oh, here we go. So yeah, they're everywhere in here, but they are just overall a really, really good animal tank inclusion. It makes sense, it fits the deal nicely. It definitely was an amphibian I had in the back of my mind from launch that I was kind of surprised was excluded. So it's great to get them here. Fits the theme. The model looks great. The animation feels improved, and I think it's one people are going to find a lot of attention in, even if it's just for a short amount of time. Before, let's be honest, they kind of fall into the same place as all the other tank animals and are treated a bit more as a decoration, which is quite unfortunate, but that's just the case, right? So, with all of that being said with the animals, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the new botanical pieces. I've laid them all out right here. Let's start off with the trees. We have 3 types of strangler figs. Oh, no, not K-Bach. We have 3 types of new strangler fig trees. We also have the what is that? Cecropia tree? I think that's what it's called. We also have the Brazil nut tree, probably my favorite for some reason. I don't know why. 3 types of them. We have these ambu trees. Very impressive, beautiful bases. They're basically like the baobab trees of South America. So you can see all 3 of them types. Oh, sorry, you can see all 3 here. Right here with the willow trees, I believe they're called. No, wimba trees. My bad. And these guys have an even more beautiful base to them. I can see a lot of people finding use in building very large, expansive botanical areas. Plus, they do a really good job covering up things. So, and then we get past all the trees. Down here, we have a whole new lineup of strangler fig roots, and the Spanish hanging moss, which is actually one I've heard people before mention should be in the game, and so we finally have it. We have this brand new log piece, this fallen mossy tree. It's very interesting, and over here we have hanging Catella orchid, something like that. These guys are my favorite plant of the whole new pack. We have these bombalade plants. They are very, very beautiful, but very simple. We have these really fancy looking cordyline plants. I'm sure Mike Sheets is going to find a lot of use in all these new ones. Excited to see what he'll do with them. We have these monkey face orchids, and lastly some plumeria flowers. Now I believe that is all the foliage pieces. I don't list it as the new DLC pieces. I just had to go through and find the ones that I recall being new. So I'm pretty sure this is all of them. There may be maybe one plant I forgot, but I don't think there is. I guess you guys can just correct me if you want in the comments down below. And now we move on to the new construction pieces, and for all you master builders out there, it's certainly an exciting thing to look forward to. Now before we take a look at a bigger look at these blueprints, let's take a look right here at some of the pieces themselves. Now go to theme, South America. Here's all of them. Now there's a lot here. There's a lot of new building materials. We have bamboo walls. You can actually, now there's also recolorable bamboo walls, so you can change the color of them if you want. These new thatched roofs. We've already have thatch roof in the game, but they're African themes, so it's good to get these new types. And actually, I like these more. A lot of new decoration pieces are awesome. These guys are one of my favorite. I don't know why, but I love that face. It's adorable. No, not adorable. Sorry, it's funny. I just said it was adorable. That's weird. It's just funny looking. Llama sculpture, which is actually, that's one of the main teasers we got for the DLC, or before the main DLC was revealed. A lot of really impressive new decoration pieces. I love the butterfly sculptures. I've used them in a few builds already. I love these new monkey signs. There's some really impressive stuff. And then my actual favorite category of the new building pieces are the new temple areas, the new temple materials you can use. There's going to be a lot of use found in all of these. I've already actually used them myself in my next video. I'll be doing a Jaguar exhibit speed build, and I've already managed to build a pretty impressive Aztec temple out of all of this. It's really helpful, impressive stuff, and I want to give a lot of credit to Frontier. I mean, some of this broken down rubble is just amazing. I mean, you can imagine how long it takes to make something like this. Probably several days to detail this much. I love it. And of course we also have, and as far as like the actual new building materials go, we have classic, just regular temple walls, and then you have gold, what are these called, panels. Oh yeah, you have recolorable temples, so you can make, if you wanted, you can make a black temple, a blue temple, any kind of temple you want. There's certainly a lot here. It's just this. I'm finding a lot more use in this brand new DLC than I have found in, well, the last one, the Arctic Pack. That may just be me, but some of the building pieces in the Arctic Pack I don't really like too much. But right here, this is great. There's a lot I'm going to use for years to come. Really impressive stuff, and even new wooden beams. I always love some new wooden parts. I just work really well with them. There's a lot, and as far as what you can make with all of this, well, if we go back to some of Frontier's very own blueprints, you can get a good look here. Here's some already pre-built staff building parts. Let's see, we got a veterinarian area. Oh, sorry, keeper hut. More keeper hut. This one's one of my favorites they've made. Really impressive. You can kind of make this into a cafe, or actually it makes me almost think of like a bar. I could see like a bar being made here, like a stage up here for music. I don't know, random stuff. But that's just what I envisioned. Some of the temple building parts right here. And as I said, in my next video, you will actually get a look at. And actually, I already have one of the my blueprints. I have some really crappy old blueprints I need to delete as I'm working to make new ones. There should be. Oh, here we go. I already made my own little Aztec temple. Very simple, but it's for a Jaguar exhibit, so it doesn't have to be too big. Oh yeah, and lastly we have some botanical blueprints made by Frontier, some really amazing ones. And I forgot about the rocks. There is new rocks, and this one's actually coming from the new update, not the DLC. Just note that everyone is going to have these new mossy rocks listed as tropical. Makes sense. All of these new mossy rocks are going to be for everyone. It's an update piece, and speaking of also update pieces, you will find one of my favorite things added to the game now are these brand new glass panels. Very helpful. I've already used these extensively, so they're great. I'm so glad. I mean, I was stuck using these for a while, and now we got this, and it's just great. Now, I have to say, while I fully enjoy the animals far more than I've had in the past of Planet Zoo already, even if there's not much of a past. I'm certainly enjoying this pack in terms of animals a lot more than the Arctic, but I'm also finding a lot more enjoyment in the actual construction and botanical pieces and with the Arctic pack. This is some major improvement, I feel like, from Frontier, from their previous DLC. There is just a lot to look at. In terms of both botanical and construction pieces, there's just a lot you can do, and I'm expecting some truly amazing things to be made. But yeah guys, so overall this DLC is amazing. It is absolutely worth the buy if you've not done so already or planning on doing so. You really should. This DLC is going to contribute so much to everyone's game. The animals are amazing, the babies are adorable, the new enrichment items are great, the botanical pieces are great, the construction pieces are great. It's a very, very solid DLC, and for $10, absolutely worth it. And I know some people were wondering, what about the new game scenarios? I know people were kind of surprised we didn't get any new game scenarios, and actually there is an answer for that. They said, I forgot exactly where, but I know Shantae mentioned to someone that they knew a lot of people did not use the new scenario modes from the previous DLC, so it would have been kind of would have been very pointless for them to make new scenario modes. So in exchange, we got more harder work done on the construction, botanical pieces, and heck, even an extra animal. Because I think at first this DLC was just going to have 4. And with all that being said, you guys, that is my overview for the new DLC. A little jumbled, but I think overall I got my point across. Love the new animals, love the new pieces, and let me know what you guys think. Are you looking forward to buying this DLC? Have you already bought it? Are you going to buy it? And are you wondering if you're going to buy it? Because I'll let you know right now, you should. It's great, and guys, that's it. Again, thank you all so much for watching this video. Please remember to like button, subscribe. And I will catch you all in the next one for some more Planet Zoo South American Pack gameplay.